Broadcast Hippo Digital Media.
Come on!
Broadcast Hippo Digital Media. is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is.
Hello.
Good morning.
What?
It is Sunday, March
Yeah.
27th, 2022, in the year of our Lord. Got the full cast here. Wait, where's Molly? What the hell is going on with Molly?
I don't know. I thought Molly was going to be here.
What do you guys need to have with her? I know. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It's going to be a busy one. We got a lot to talk about. The whole gang is here. I see Dylan and Michael, and of course Dave and Nicole, and the mayor of Cedar Point, the unofficial mayor of Cedar Point.
Unofficially.
Well, can we have an election? Because I would make that official anytime.
Sure.
We need
it's a nickname that my friends gave me because I used to read all of the Tony Clark's and before him Annie Zell, any statement that the PR people would make. I'd read it at work. I'd make people gather around and I'd read it. So,
did you go hear ye?
Well, eventually they caught on and they would like sit and wait for me to read it, and then afterwards they'd ask questions and I would make up answers.
I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so let's jump right in. First off, in the news, Nicole put a rundown together, and I love it. Ohio State Day has been announced.
Oh yeah.
Point Friday, May 6th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Ohio State Peeps. $30 tickets for students, $45 for everyone else, $14 for pass holders. What is I don't even know what that is. What is Ohio State Day? I mean, I'm guessing it's celebrating the Ohio State, but what happens? Is this an annual thing? Is this a new thing? I know nothing. Anybody?
I can give you a little bit about that. The Ohio State Day does celebrate the Ohio State University. The best damn band in the land is showing up.
Oh, fun.
It's one heck of a great day because me being a solid Buckeye fanatic all my life, it's great because we even put the Ohio State flags on the locomotives at CP&LE when we did it back in 2016.
Oh, awesome.
How has this been going on forever, or is
This has been going on for quite a while, as far as I know.
That's fun. Free T-shirts to the first 4,000 guests. By the way, Dave, I have a question. What is the official capacity, or if you have a guesstimate of how many Cedar Point hold? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? I have no idea.
Oh gosh, I have no idea, but I know it's a lot.
Last
capacity a few times.
Last year was 75,000.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I think it's like that's what I was gonna say with Mike. I thought it was around 60 or 70. That's why when they did like capacity restrictions, even like on a busy day, like a busy day for Cedar Point is around I think 30,000. So even when they had capacity restrictions, that's why they dropped the reservations because they never really. It's such a big park that you really could get like 100,000 people in there.
Speaking of Ohio State, it's crazy. So. Which makes it interesting to me is that like if you go to an Ohio State game, isn't that like 75,000? So it's crazy you get all these people in one stadium, or you can get the same amount of people go all over the park. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to me. All right, free T-shirt, free drink passes if your tickets are purchased before April 15th. Ooh, all you can eat barbecue, Buckeye barbecue food pass for $18. Discounted. Yeah, discounted hotels. Discounted parking. Is anybody planning on going Ohio State Day?
I'm going to go wear my Michigan shirt on that day.
Yeah.
Hey, those are fighting words, Dave.
Wow.
Those are fighting words.
Wow, Dave.
The wife and
I'm with Dave.
What's that, Nicole?
Yep.
I'm with Dave. I'm a U of M fan.
Thank you.
I worked-
Nicole.
Fight words too,
I worked at Ohio State sort of for like 2 months, and I absolutely loved it there. So I don't ever talk too much smack about Ohio State except on game week. But I will say the Buckeyes were not very friendly to me on the weekend of the Michigan Ohio State basketball game and wouldn't let me in a bar because I had a Michigan license. So
we
never forgotten that.
Oh my gosh,
forget that.
Wow,
what if you guys wear Michigan shirts to Ohio State Day and they kick you guys out?
Or not let you in.
They probably would.
More than likely.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet even just for funsies, you wouldn't let him in, but maybe even for their own safety, you wouldn't let him in because you get some drunk Ohio State fans that just become assholes and be like, I remember one time I went to a Lions game And this is when I was doing a morning show in Green Bay. So we flew in for it was Lions versus Green Bay. It must have been a Thanksgiving Day game.
Go Packers.
Yeah, so we go there, and Lions fans were rude as hell. Like we were there with a couple girls, and they were they pull their pants down and show their junk and be like, "Well," and trying to pelt us with stuff. It was rude.
Jeez.
Yeah,
gosh.
that's typical of Detroit.
Typical.
Well, my brother.
That is very typical of Detroit.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, my brother-in-law went to an Ohio game. He's a Michigan fan. He went to an Ohio game down in Columbus, and he was kind of scared. He was getting spit on. Things were getting thrown at him. He had his daughter with him too, which was kind of sad, you know. And they're walking out. People are throwing things at them, you know. It was
take
kind
that
of
stuff a little too far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Not cool.
all in the spirit of fun.
Me,
Right.
I
It's
will
supposed to be
remember
fun.
Michigan
I mean, I
fans
love a
being
little
gay.
rivalry, but you know,
Yeah.
take it a little too far sometimes.
No, me personally, I rib Michigan fans all the time.
Mhm.
I give them hell, but I don't go that far.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
with
Right.
me,
Nor
it's more
should
of
you,
I'm
yeah.
joking with you versus trying to throw stuff at you.
Exactly. Yep.
Now,
I mean,
Molly says that the dance club's going to be there. The band shows off. That there may be some players signing autographs. She says the barbecue cookout is the best she's ever had at the park. Even better than beats and what's it called? Beats and Q beats.
Backbeat barbecue.
Backbeat barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Backbeat. Wow, so that's good. All right,
That
so
place is freaking awesome.
yeah, it is awesome. So there you go, May 6th, Ohio State Day. All right, let's talk about it's not Cedar Point, but Cedar Point, of course, has the similar ride to it's the Power Tower at Cedar Point, but a similar ride. This kid got on in Florida, and he was attending a football camp in Florida. Now he's 6'5", 340 pounds. The restraint failed when they dropped him, and he fell off the thing and then hit the pavement. First of all, the video super disturbing.
I heard about it, but yeah.
I just
sad.
want to say send condolences to their family and everybody there. I mean, everybody is so traumatized, and then this video is out there, and there's no warnings that what you're going to see. So just kind of our warning of it's very disturbing, and know what you're getting into. This is a human, and it's awful. So I'm so sorry to their family and everyone involved.
Absolutely. We all echo that, Nicole. Dave, I want to start with you on this thing. Since you are a ride operator, what is the responsibility of a ride operator? So if the kid was too big, like, 340,
there's weight restrictions, right? So
yeah. So is the onus on the person to follow the rules, or is the onus on the ride operator to make sure the rules are followed? Does that make sense?
Well, the majority falls on the ride operator. I mean, that's your job. I mean, you have to make sure that that person can fit properly into the seat. The restraint can close properly. I mean, first off, I got to say, most of those rides have seatbelts on it. This one didn't. And second of all, when the harness is not locked all the way, there's an indicator on there that tells the ride, hey, this is not locked. You know, it will not allow the ride to start until all seats are locked, which on that, what I was told, I don't know a whole lot about this tower, but from what I was told is there's lights underneath the seats, these red lights that will light up and indicate, hey, the seat's locked. Well, if you unfortunately watch the video, you'll see on the bottom of the seat, his is the only seat that doesn't have the red light.
Right. Well, you don't even have to watch a video. Dave. You showed us a picture at the top, and you could see that his seat was dark, and all the other ones had red around them.
Yes.
So I wonder how they even let it take off.
I don't know why the ride would allow itself to start. First off,
right.
Second of all, I mean, just by looking at the guy before the ride started, that harness was not properly on. Yeah, this falls solely on to begin with the ride operator's fault. I mean. And he should not have been allowed to ride. The
one thing that I did notice too with rides like that is there's usually a double redundancy strap that comes up between your legs.
Yeah,
which I don't know if you guys remember. Wicked Twister had one that was to the side, which always kind of made me uncomfortable on that ride because, like, obviously, I mean that's just the failsafe. I mean the ride locks, clicks itself closed, and then that seatbelt is just a little bit of extra security.
I'm just amazed it didn't have seatbelts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even that would even be allowed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the other element of that ride is that it tilts forward. So the riders are facing, like, I think it's like a 30-degree angle, kind of facing the ground to enhance the free fall feeling. That, I mean, I hate those kind of rides in general, but without
I
a
was
seatbelt,
down there a couple days ago, Busch Gardens, and that's how their drop tower is at Falcon's Fury. It goes up, and it tips you forward, so you're like facing straight down, and then it drops you, so you're going down facing straight down. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Donnie brought up Wicked Twister. Colleen, my wife, had an issue with Wicked Twister. What happened, Colleen?
My ex-husband and I went for our anniversary, and the latch actually gave. So my seat popped open during the ride. And if it wasn't for Tony, I probably would have died.
Well, so wait, so how did that happen? What did they?
So the only thing that was still attached was like the seatbelt anchor
That's
part.
what Donnie said. The side strap or whatever, right? The emergency safety strap.
The safety strap was the only thing that was still attached. Everything else was going back and forth, and I was moving and jolting around, and Tony was trying to hold it shut during the ride.
Oh my God.
If it was later in your marriage, you probably wouldn't have tried to hold it.
No, it was literally like the 4th wedding anniversary.
Were you scared?
If you recall, I never went near that ride again.
Yeah.
What happens when what happens when you get off the ride and say, my restraint failed?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
Literally nothing happened.
Did you tell somebody?
Yes, we told them, and we went to guest services and everything, and nothing was done. They didn't close the ride down, nothing. Like, they went on about their day.
What? Wait, did somebody else, did you know, after you, did someone sit in the same seat?
Yeah.
What? I don't even understand. Wow.
How the heck?
So that was what? Like 2000, I think it was like 2009, 2010. It was right after I had Natalie.
Oh, wow. Safety third.
Yikes.
Dave, like, what is there a protocol? I wanted to ask Molly too if there's like some kind of protocol when someone gets off a ride and says my restraint came off. Like, oh my gosh, it's terrifying.
You know,
Sorry.
It's kind of a fine line. Yeah, we were supposed to check it out, make sure it locks, you know. But a lot of people come off, even it'll stay locked, but people have the feeling that it's unlocked. You get a lot of that, like, oh my God, my restraint wasn't closed, you know. You get a lot of that, so it's kind of hard to determine what's real and what's not. But in that case, you got to physically go and check it yourself, make sure that it's working properly.
They ask you to check your restraint before the ride takes off.
Yeah,
they even do that. Cedar Point too.
Yeah, except for this actually came loose when you go backwards and you're up at the very top. Is when it popped open.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh my
The other
gosh.
thing is we don't. But that ride that killed that 14-year-old, we don't know if there was something wrong with that restraint in the first place either. Right. So you got to consider that possibility too. The fact the kid was as large as he was is a big factor in itself.
Well, I'll tell you, I sadly watched the video, and that ride operator didn't seem to be paying a lot of attention to that ride.
They never do.
A joke to him, you know, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Right. You have to
I agree with that.
And I'm sure it's hard, you know, when it's hard to find employees now that, you know, you'll take I mean, I know people that filled out sent a text message, says they want to be an employee, and they said, all right, come down tomorrow, you're hired, you're starting. You know, it's like when you're sometimes you just take anybody, and then not everyone's going to take things as serious as they should, and you would hope that they would instill how serious this is in whatever training they have. But man, like you said, it didn't seem like he was all that worried about his job. Go ahead, Nicole.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but so this would probably, it looks like it's both operator error and maybe you know, a ride fail. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say design. I feel like it was. I don't think the restraint failed. I think it was just the perfect mix of how he was heavier and the angle of how that ride opens up, and it kind of just created a catastrophic environment where it slows down, and he kind of just slid through because it didn't have like, you know, it wasn't, if it was facing straight up and down, his weight would have caught the seat, would have caught him. You know what I mean?
Well,
but the way that it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Don. I didn't mean to cut you off. So Dollywood's got the same thing. Of course, Power Tower at Cedar Point. Do you think that that they? So when there's a plane, let's say there's a 747 that crashes, they'll ground 747s just till they know what the problem is, make sure it's not going to happen somewhere else. Do you foresee that happening? Because I think Molly said that Dolly would close their Dolly would close their drop tower as well. She said,
"Yeah, I hear the drop tower at Dollywood, from what I understand, is the same manufacturer as the one in Orlando where the incident happened. And I heard that they closed it down. I can't verify that, but I did hear that they closed it down.
I think all of them should be closed until they figure out what happened. It's not worth the risk.
They're going to be taking a strong look at them about putting seatbelts on them if they're already aren't on there. You know, I mean, that's a guarantee now. I'm just still amazed. There's not.
No, and that's a simple.
There's got to be a redundant system.
Yeah, that's just a simple fix too. It's just seatbelts in there.
And a lot of it comes down to time management. They're worried about getting people on and off the ride. They're like, well, seatbelt belts are redundant. They take time, you know. But at the end of the day, it's all about safety. You got to be safe.
And it's funny, we had this discussion in our group chat yesterday versus Cedar Point rides or amusement park rides versus carnival rides, where the carnival sets up and you know, he's hung over from the travel from the night before, and he's setting up a ride, and it's got wheels on it, and they're pulling it on the trailer, and I'm like, I'm kind of cool on that. It's not, I don't know, but Dave, like you said, every place they go, they're getting checked.
Yep, so they get inspected weekly. You know, they won't certify that ride until it's checked out, and you know the inspector signs off on it. You know,
right. But at some point, if anyone's done an inspection, doesn't it at some point you notice that if someone's been inspecting for 20 years, it just becomes a formality? Like it's a all right.
Not always.
No, those inspectors are constantly getting trained. They're constantly going to seminars. They're up to date on the industry standards and all that fun stuff.
And I guess I didn't mean rides in particular. I meant in general. Like you know, if I have to have a fire marshal, so I have to have a fire marshal for my food truck in Toledo, and then I got to have one in Sylvania, and then I got to have. By the third or fourth, they're like, "Nah, you're good." Like so they hardly even check it because they realize that, you know, if you've got all these other stickers, it's not a
well. See, with the amusement rides, though, it's different because if an incident happens, that falls back on the inspector. It's like, well, how come you didn't inspect this ride properly? You know, I mean, so it's serious business.
And that's part of the Top Thrill Dragster stuff as well. Was it inspected properly before the part fell off? So there's actually, if anybody is interested in amusement park ride disasters, there's a Facebook page that if you want to keep up on all the current events, you can. I found it very disturbing and upsetting at how many there are, and it's making me question all of my life decisions.
Oh my God. Like how many is it?
All the time.
Is there like all the time, Nicole, or is there like 1 week? Is there like one a year, or?
I just scrolled through. And Dave helped me out with this. Maybe Molly can comment and help us. At least once a month. I don't know. You know, it might be overshooting.
I know that site you're referring to. I look at it too. And to be honest, majority, I'd say 90% of those incidents on there are in other countries where the standards aren't as high, and you got some hodgepodge amusement ride put together by some company you never heard of before, you know. And like I said, they're very loose on the standards in other countries. Yeah. So I mean, that does say a lot about our safety here.
Well, one thing too, you gotta keep it in perspective. Like I always used to tell my ex-wife, like when she'd get freaked out by news, you gotta keep it in perspective. Like, okay, you gotta figure how many times does that ride run a day? How many rides are there at that amusement park? How many amusement parks are there? So now are you at 2 million, 3 million, 4 million rides, and then once a month something happens? I mean, really, the stats would be super. I mean, percentage wise, it would be super low. But obviously, amusement park, it's clickbait. Everyone, oh my God, some have amusement park. You're gonna click on it, it's gonna get a lot of play.
Oh, the media loves to sensationalize a lot of the stuff too.
Oh, God, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
They don't do that, Dave. Come on.
Oh, come on. Like
They
heck,
get
they
me.
don't.
They got me.
Look, in that statement though that you said with the thousands of rides, that's where the complacency can come from. Because you have in that a job like that, like ride operator, inspector, like your biggest enemy is complacency. Like the cliche, complacency kills, because you get comfortable with like the success of the past. Like you've done it a million times. We've ran it a million times. So you have to fight that. Like that can't happen. It's like the number one rule in a job like that.
And like you said, and it's human nature for anyone. If you're doing the same thing every day, a million times a day, you do have to try to fight that down. You're 100% right. The biggest problem with people is human error, complacency type thing, because that's when the human error starts, when you're just like, all right, this is the same thing. It happened the last 10 times, so I know it's going to be okay. And no, you're 100% right. Dave makes up a good case for carnivals that they have to get inspected every week. But it just like I said, the dude that's been out drinking the night before and then pulls the cooler in, and then my rule is that I can't go on a ride run by a guy that has less teeth than the days of the carnival. So if it's a 7-day carnival.
He's a hillbilly.
If it's a 7-day carnival, you have to have 8 teeth. If it's a 3-day carnival, I require 4 teeth, and
4
then
plus.
maybe 4 plus.
Yeah, Billy Bob's Carnival. You got to kind of question that.
Oh God, you would.
And Dave, I don't think you were here when I told the story, but there was a carnival here locally in the Toledo area, not in Toledo, but in the Toledo area, and I had my food truck out there. And it was on a Sunday, and this girl came over. She got some food, blah, blah. And I heard her talking to somebody. She was working the carnival. I'm like, oh, so where are you from? She goes, I'm from here. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but you travel around. So you just this is your home base now? You got back to your home base? She said, no. She said, no, they hired me here. They said, if anyone wants to run the carnival rides, come on out on Friday. So I said, oh, so you came out and they trained you and everything? She said, well, they told me to run that ride, and they told me where the on-off switch was, and then they let me go, and I ran it all weekend, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to get paid.
You're like, what the hell?
Tater and funnel cakes.
I get paid her in funnel fries.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's reassuring. Go ahead, Michael.
But it's funny you mentioned the retraining and all that stuff. With my job and the other thing I do on the side, I got to go through all that too. I work private security, so there's more classes I got to take that way. And on the other aspect with Operation Lifesaver, there's more training there too. So it's like Donnie said, complacency is your worst enemy.
What is Operation Lifesaver?
It's the organization I'm a part of. I've been a part of since 2019. Now, being the biggest rail buff here, and the only one, I should say, and being there, done it, seen it all. I've watched cars get hit. I've watched near misses. And on top of that, I've watched a man die out in my backyard September 1st, 2002 at 2:45 a.m. I won't forget that day, and I still have nightmares from it.
Yeah.
Now,
so you're talking that's a rail safety club?
Yes, this is a rail safety organization. Raise awareness at highway rail grade crossings. We have to cover that. We have to cover trespassing, and that little blue sign you see on the crossings. That little blue sign is the emergency notification system. It was put in by the DOT a few years ago as a way for you to call in if there's a crossing malfunction or anything else you see. You use that toll-free number, and right below it, there's a number assigned to that crossing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So when you use that number, you give them that number, and they know exactly where you are.
I've done that because there's a part of town here in Toledo where it's trains constantly. Like I couldn't live over there, but I had a restaurant over there for like a year.
Right.
And I would be getting hit by these damn things all the effing time, and I would call. I'd be like, "I've been waiting here 40." They don't care. I mean,
no.
Well, because the train wasn't moving.
That, Andrew,
the train doesn't move. I would call. I'd call and give them the little number on the bottom. I'd call the number and then give them the number of the crossing. I'm like, "You gotta get this thing moved." They don't care.
And unfortunately, Andrew, I got to give you a little hint on that. Federal law trumps state and local. There ain't much you can do about it. Your hands, the cities, the states are all tied on that one.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, all right. Let's get on to let's talk about Dave. You went to Busch Gardens.
Yes.
Iron
Can't
Gwazi.
wait to hear.
Iron Gwazi is Iron Gwazi as good as Steel Vengeance? If you could only ride one for the rest of your life.
Oh man, that's a tall order.
Oh boy, here we go.
You can never get on one of them. You can only ride one of them.
Well, first off, they're both absolutely amazing coasters. I mean,
which one? Oh, both. Okay.
You know, I got off both coasters thinking, wow, this is amazing. You know, I had the same feeling on both. It's just a matter of perspective. Like Steel Vengeance is just element after element after element. Bam, 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 bam. As to where Iron Gwazi, you have those elements, but there's a little bit of speed and curves between them. You know, you're not just going into loop to loop to loop, you know. So it's a little bit more spaced out. And the first drop on Iron Gwazi is a little bit more intense than Steel Vengeance. Now, Steel Vengeance does have has a little bit more length on it, but I don't really think that makes a difference in this case when you're comparing the two.
Oh, length always matters. Always. We always want a longer ride.
I'm trying to keep this PG here. But
length of track.
I'm talking about roller coasters. Always important to get the longest ride possible.
The only girl on the show, we have to respect her opinion.
Molly!
And I think Ohio went to the gutter on that one.
Molly's
I was talking. I was talking about roller coasters.
I knew you were, Nicole. I know.
There is a point on Steel Vengeance where it starts to get a little painful there towards the end. Those little bunny hops, your like thighs are getting bruised and that. But I mean, it's a good violent feeling, you know.
Again, sometimes there's good violence. I mean, you got to keep it interesting.
You have to have a safe
A
word.
little thigh bruising never hurt anybody on a roller coaster.
I mean, they're both equally as good, I think.
Okay.
I will say this. Steel Vengeance. I love Steel Vengeance. I get off that ride. I need to take a 5-minute breather before I can ride again. It's pretty intense. Iron Gwazi, I can get off that ride and get right back on.
Huh.
I feel like
roller coaster refractory period.
Yeah, like I feel like I would actually prefer that because I mean, Steel Vengeance is an amazing ride, but it is a little much. Like it's just
no way.
I love Steel Vengeance. I'm not putting it down in any way.
Dave, let me ask you a question.
I just like them as equal.
We're gonna have to give Dave the mayor title because he's so politically correct here. You have to pick one. You got to pick one, Dave. You can only ride one the rest of your life.
And I would like to mention the name of our podcast is the Cedar Point Podcast. So I just to put that out there.
Just giving an honest opinion. You know, I like them both equally. Okay. I mean, I can't pick one.
Both your kids.
Come on, man! Don't walk on us.
And it has a lower height requirement than Steel Vengeance. It's a 48-inch height requirement.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Dylan.
You know, which was kind of cool.
All right, a question for you guys. So what was it called? Oh, Dave, you're getting up there in years. You got some gray. Me, I've got a little gray, a little less because of thanks for touch for men or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, God. But Donnie, the touch of a man. What?
Donnie's hitting the touch of a man, Nicole.
Oh my God!
That's what I heard.
Does there come a point where you can foresee that your roller coaster days will have to come to an end because getting up there in years, maybe they're getting a little rougher on her? Now, you know, my mom is 70. She's in her 70s, and she rode roller coasters up until a year ago, and she still tries to get on them. We have to force her not to because she's had some neck injuries. And we're like, no, Mom, you're 70 years old. You can't continue to go on the roller coasters. And she wants to go on there with the kids. Do you foresee a time where the roller coaster, like for me, I'm retired already, and it's more because I don't like the walk of shame when you walk up to the fucking roller coaster and then they're waiting for you. You got to fit in the seat, and then they got 4 operators coming over and they're all trying to push down on the thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going to wait at the bottom of the hill. I'm not doing the walk of shame where then you have to walk out the exit and never got on the ride because you're too big. Yeah, I'm good.
You know, Andrew, I love roller coasters so much, and you know, I'll be 30 in July, and you know, I honestly do not want to see that day because I love them.
Because of course you don't see that day.
Right, but I don't want to get there though. I don't want to.
Oh, that's not a life you want to live.
Things do change at 40, Dylan. We'll just put that out there.
Right.
I hope not.
So Dave, do
Speak
you
for yourself, Nicole.
There's
I still
already
feel like
rides
I'm
I can't
30.
handle anymore.
I still ride all the rides. Don't get me wrong. But
So Dave used to ride all the rides. Nicole, you still ride all the rides.
Yep.
Donnie, I know, rides all the rides. Michael,
I
you
do.
Dylan rides all the rides. Michael, you riding all
and
the
my
rides?
dad.
My
Mike's not a
my
roller coaster
coaster
guy.
days ended in 2016 on
Oh, that's
Iron
right.
Dragon. That's
right.
it.
All right.
And that was only for a bet from a coworker.
As you get
I
older,
am probably the biggest wuss here too.
you
On
get
that.
older though, do you foresee a point where you're not gonna be able to ride the heavy duty roller coasters anymore? You're gonna be stuck with the mine ride and the train ride, and that's where I'm at, and I'm fine with it.
Barring
That's probably
any
where
health
I'm gonna be,
issues,
too.
I plan on riding them my whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
I just
Donnie,
wanted to add, we've talked about my dad before. My dad is almost 74.
Uh-huh.
He still gets on every ride. There is no stopping him. Now, as he will say, he's as good once as he ever was, but he can't do it quite as many times. Like if the opportunity came up to ride over and over,
Yeah.
that's not it. But he's
Got to space
one
it out a
running.
little bit.
He's 70, almost 74, and already asking when we're going to Cedar Point this season. So if you can, let it go. Let it
Well, that
happen.
brings up an interesting topic maybe for next week too. Is the mixture of rides at the park. I mean, coaster enthusiasts, that's all they want is coasters at the park. But it's good to have a variety of rides, at the park for all ages and people that don't like the roller coasters.
Right.
Too, so.
Well, and I think they say that's a Disney thing where it's a lot of it's experiences, it's fun stuff. It's not just, that's not if you're going for if you're a roller coaster enthusiast, Disneyland's probably not going to be your thing, but they do such a good job in all the other stuff. Does Cedar Point do a good job in all the other stuff? You think the non?
I don't know. I'm only in line for the roller coasters. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed. Like that, even the Snake River ride. I'm like, oh man, this is so hype, and it's so average, and it's the exact same thing as I know I've said this before. It's the Jungle Cruise. They've really. Like, I would be if I made that ride. I would be embarrassed at how close it is to the Jungle Cruise, and that you didn't put more thought into the ride. It's the dumb jokes. It's the it just is so much similar.
Well, Cedar Point doesn't have a $70 million budget for a ride like Disney does either.
No, they don't.
They're seasonal, so
right.
You gotta look at that as well.
Exactly.
That's true.
And you got to think when you fire up the Snake River Falls or the Thunder Canyon, you got to think you got to drain all that water out at the end of the season too.
Well,
So,
Thunder Canyon drains every night.
hey, Thunder
Yeah,
Canyon is my kind of ride.
Thunder Canyon's my
A lot
favorite
of people
water
don't
ride.
realize Thunder Canyon actually draws water right out of Lake Erie.
Really?
So you can come off that ride.
I
smelling
didn't know
like a
that.
fish.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that, Dave.
I didn't either.
Mm-hmm.
I know. My first time I was at Cedar Point, I did Thunder Canyon. It was like 10 in a row, and I never got wet. My 11th time I went on, I got drenched.
See, now that you guys say that, though,
That was cool, though.
now that you guys say that, do you guys think that Cedar Point could do more incorporating Lake Erie into the park? Because it's so beautiful and it's right. It's basically they touch almost. So I can see a ride where you're like shooting from there and then shooting into Lake Erie and then coming back around, or going over like where the path for the cars goes around the park. Like even having a ride go over there, kind of like a Gatekeeper, I guess, but more on the sides and incorporating Lake Erie a little more because you have it right there. Go ahead, Donnie.
Well, that's kind of what I think they're doing over by the Wicked Twister area. A lot of people are speculating what ride's coming next. In my opinion, I don't think there's going to be a ride going there. I think they're clearing all that area so you could see right out into the lake, and that they want that visual that you can.
I thought they were going to put a
That's gonna
restaurant there, honestly.
We don't need
what I-
another restaurant, Dylan.
No.
We've got too many as it is.
There's been
boardwalk.
rumors over the last several years of like a boardwalk style area.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Knott's Berry Farm, Cedar Point's other park out in California, but they've kind of got like a Pacific Coast, like boardwalk themed area. I'm kind of thinking something along those lines. I mean, they got plenty of other spaces they could put a big coaster. And I just don't see a big coaster.
And that view with Wicked Twister being down opens the view up for the 4th of July fireworks.
That's what Donnie was saying too. Yeah, and the cool thing is they've already done a lot with that boardwalk beach area, but there's so much more potential there that they could do. But I mean, it's come a long way. but there's just still so much more there, like you said, Donnie. And it's all kind of like I said, marrying the two, the Lake Erie and the beach and the park more, as opposed to the park having gates and then you walk out and then your beach experience, boardwalk experience, whatever, but almost incorporating it a little more. There's something there that they could do that I think would be really, really cool. And with Wicked Twister gone, it may give them the opportunity to be able to do that.
You know, they've
And if
always
that's the
had
case, that
problems
makes it
getting
work.
traffic into that area of the park too. It's kind of off to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why they're building a lot up there. You see a lot of things come and go. Is they're just trying to get people over into that general area of the park.
Well,
too.
what are they doing with that swing ride? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nicole. You go.
Oh,
first.
I was just gonna. It's kind of a little bit back a little bit, but Molly is talking about Thunder Canyon sucks because of the water snakes. What in the world is what, Molly? Oh my gosh, I gotta know about
any of
water.
No idea.
Okay, Lake Erie is known for having what's called water moccasins. I
Yeah.
see them up here in Port Clinton all the time.
Yeah, we
They're
have
the
them all the
little-
time.
They're little water snakes that are in the water. And the times I've been on Thunder Canyon, I haven't seen a single water snake anywhere on that ride. Not one.
No, they filter the water through a filter system before anything solid gets.
So
filtered
only the
out.
little ones can get through.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
There are no snakes whatsoever on that
That's
Thunder
fair.
Canyon. None.
Oh,
Well,
Thank you,
there's a lot of snakes. I mean, there's a lot of snakes on the peninsula, but like you said, they're small ones. I mean, that's why they called it Snake River. It's called
Yeah.
Snake River.
I actually have a video of years
Oh
ago
my
when Paddle Wheel Excursions was around. There
Uh-huh.
was like a 5-foot long snake slithering through the line.
no.
Yeah, and the employees were trying to catch
No.
it with a bucket and a broom.
With a bucket and a
Pretty
mop.
entertaining. Yeah.
I mean, if it's one of them little garter snakes, all right, cool, fine.
No.
Oh my God.
Those little suckers, I've caught one already when I was a young kid.
Uh-huh.
Molly's calling bullshit, by the way.
They're little,
They hang out at Lighthouse Point. That's where they.
no,
That's where they all
basically they're
chill.
little constrictors. They'll wrap around, then they bite you.
Oh
But
my
they're
God.
They're not
Dave,
that bad.
Michael, stop.
You call it,
No, seriously,
call it-
I had to catch one and release it.
What's going on? What's going on with that swing ride over? I can't even think of the name. But
Are you
Max
talking
Air?
Windsweeper?
Windseeker?
what's going on with
Windseeker.
Oh,
Max Air?
that's fair.
Is that thing going to be up and going this year? What's going on?
Rumor is
I
it's
can't
supposed
wait.
to start
It's
back up
supposed
this
to.
year.
What's that, Dave?
So it's supposed to start back up this year, from what I was told. They were waiting on
Yeah.
a part or something from overseas with all the shipping issues and all that. But
You got to figure we if Max Air is down, Top Thrill is down, Wicked Twister is gone. I mean, that's a lot of thrillish type rides. It's a good person. You're starting to get up there a little bit. They need to
Yeah.
maybe fix that stuff.
Yeah, I miss Max Air. That's one of my favorites, and it's been down last couple of years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's, just to see, it's so sad to just see it just sitting there when you're over in that area. It's like, Dave, you could push a button. Let's give this thing a try.
Yeah, you got your keys?
Well,
Let's
yeah,
go.
I got my ride key right here, actually.
There it is.
Let's go.
It's been sitting. Maybe it fixed itself. Let's go.
Yeah.
It reminds me of one of those rides you see at the fair, just like one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. You're
Well,
right.
that like I said, they were waiting on a part from the manufacturer, and with all the shipping issues and the world issues going on right now, they couldn't get the part in.
Yeah.
And I thought they replaced the restraints on it too with different restraints from what I don't know about that though. And so it will. I guess Tony told somebody it is scheduled to open this year.
Well, good. All right.
That's what I heard too.
Go ahead,
I've
Nicole.
been hearing that as well.
Talking a little bit about rides and the restraints. Someone on one of the Cedar Point Facebook pages was talking about they were concerned about Skyhawk with the restraint system. I don't ride Skyhawk; it's not my deal. But does it have a seatbelt that clicks the overhead harness in?
Is the scariest
It does.
ride in the park
Yeah.
because of the
It has
restraint.
Wait, what, Donnie?
It's the scariest ride in the park because of this restraint. It's a plastic lap bar, that presses down, and
Uh-huh.
it does so it locks on its own, and it does have a double redundancy clip that you clip next to you. So you are safe, but you don't feel safe because it's just a very small bar that goes over your lap, and that thing goes about 150
yeah.
feet up straight down. That's the
I don't
scariest
even
ride in
think
the park
about
for me.
that when I'm on that. I don't even
Yeah,
think
that
about
ride is-
that at all.
Neither does my redheaded wife, and she's sleeping right now. She don't think about
And
it
Molly-
either, does it?
Yeah, It's safe.
Not sure what's happening. Molly still says bullshit about the snakes, that there's snakes that live in the Thunder Canyon boats, and her friends that work there have to throw them out of the boats. So just
I
saying.
haven't seen a single
I've
one,
never
so
seen
Watch
one.
out
I
for
don't know where
snakes.
I
it's
mean,
coming from.
Listen, if the
Thunder
snake
Kingdom's
waits in
the
line like everybody else,
Yeah.
it gets to ride. Okay, that's all I'm
There you
saying.
go.
Maybe
Should
they
get-
have a pass so they can come back at a certain time so they don't have to wait in the regular line.
They got a fast pass. Yeah.
The snake pass. All right, coaster of the
Slither
week.
past the line. Yeah.
Coaster of the week. Here we go. What is
There
it?
we go. What you got, Dave?
All right, we got the classic Blue Streak.
Blue Streak.
Yeah, it's kind of a fan favorite. Opened back in 1964. Wooden coaster built by PTC, Philadelphia Toboggan Company, as that stands for. Little known fact about Blue Streak is it wasn't always blue. The first 2 years that it was open, it was just natural wood color. And then they finally painted it blue. And it's named after the local high school football team, I believe it is. The
Sandusky Blue Streaks.
Yes, Sandusky Blue Streaks.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still a
Oh,
favorite. The only bummer about it for me is I remember riding it back in the, I'm dating myself here, but like the early 80s and that. And it used to be like the big lap bar, one lap bar, that goes down. No seat belts, nothing like that.
Nope.
Now you got the seat divider, you got those individual lap bars. It was a much more comfortable ride back in the day.
Yeah, isn't it kind of rough? It's
I
one of the
miss
ones
that.
I
I really miss
yeah.
that.
It's kind of rough, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, I've been hearing
Yeah.
it needs a major overhaul to get it smooth again, but it's a lot rougher than what you think.
I don't find it rough. I mean, especially, if you sit under a wheel, you're on any wooden coaster, you're going to get a rough ride, bumpy ride.
Yeah, I don't know like what they did, but I don't know if you probably haven't rode in a while, Michael. But last year was a lot smoother than the previous years. Like I don't.
Interesting.
It is a lot smoother than it used to
It's
be.
not me that wrote it; it's my wife, and my wife was telling me that.
Mhm.
so
every
years
time I've
ago
gotten
when they
on
had
it, I've had a problem with it. So
Go ahead, Nicole.
years ago when you would ride it, like if you were right because of the one lap bar, if you were on with someone that was bigger than you, that lap bar would not come down, so you were getting tons of air because that ride is just hills and flying off of that seat as a little kid, like being terrified that I was gonna fall out because there was nothing holding you in. So I like the
But you
seatbelt,
didn't fall out.
but I didn't.
It's like you're sizing people up next to you. It's like, we need to be a little closer in size. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not flying out because you've
So-
chosen to eat a little more at dinner.
I like the seat dividers. I like the individual seat belts, and I like the individual lap bars. I'm
Makes you feel safer.
a safety girl.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the seat dividers. I mean, it just makes it so tight. And I don't know what it is with the seatbelt on there. Who thought that up? They have one end is like this, and the other end's like this, but you're sitting on the short end. So you got to like sit up,
Yeah.
try to get the
Yeah.
seatbelt on. You got the seat divider right there. And
Yeah.
it's a hassle. Yeah, it's really bad. It's bad design.
It's a pain in the neck.
Paul says CP should RMC it.
What does that?
So-
No.
What does that mean?
There's a
I'm-
YouTube video.
Rocky
There's
There's a
Mountain
YouTube
Coaster.
video.
You do not want
It's
to
a
do a Rocky
classic.
Mountain coaster on Blue Streak.
Oh,
You
Why
do
not?
do it.
No way.
all right.
Because
I don't
If they are-
disagree. I'm just curious why.
Yeah.
if they are
Oh, it's a classic coaster. They already have an RMC in the park.
and the problem if you do Blue Streak as an RMC, then Blue Streak is not going to be the same. It's
No.
literally going to be inversions, just like Steel Vengeance.
Mhm.
You want to?
Yeah.
I would rather see Blue Streak kept the same the way it is,
Mhm.
but just a little bit smoother than that.
All right.
All right, there it is. That's Dave Coaster of the Week. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. Ken, how many weeks away are we? This weather is bumming me out. I can't.
I know. No, I'm
I think I
excited.
feel
Like,
like it's 90 degrees in Florida. I come back here, it's snowing.
I know. Go ahead,
6
Don. What were you
weeks still.
I was just saying, like talking about the snakes going through the line, it really got me excited. I seriously can't wait to get back to the park.
Right.
And I would like to go on record to say Steel Vengeance will always be my favorite. You can't talk to me with your short Iron Gwazi bullshit.
Well,
I
you
am
love
a
it.
Steel
You don't
Vengeance
know
girl
Nicole.
forever.
You can't say
I'll
that.
tell you
before
what.
I do. I already know.
a
When you already
shameless
have
plug here, but
something
go
good,
on my
you don't need
YouTube
to try
channel. I got a
everything else.
POV
Wait,
of
one at a
Iron
time.
Gwazi on there you can check
First of
out.
all, Nicole is obviously just a home teamer because she hasn't even been on the Iron Gwazi, so she's
Right.
automatically
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 2, Dave, what were you saying about the video?
That's
I
right.
said shameless plug here, but if you go on Amusement Park Portal on YouTube, I do have a POV video of
Yeah.
Iron Gwazi on there you can check out.
And I love your Facebook page, man. I love just seeing the little nuggets you put.
Great.
How much time you put in this? Because it's like every 5 minutes there's something new up there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I try to do one update an hour. I put a lot of time in. I put at least 2-3 hours a day into updating Facebook alone.
Wow.
And
Wow.
all the editing with the videos and that goes in. It takes quite a long time.
So go appreciate it. What's the Facebook page, Dave?
Amusement Park Portal, 3 words.
I love it. I love it.
And we
Sending it
share
right
some.
now.
We share a lot of his videos on our Facebook page
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just wanted to point out that once you have something really good, you don't need to go try the rest of the other stuff. You can appreciate what you have in Steel Vengeance without trying Iron Gwazi. So
See, that's someone that's in a successful marriage right there. Once you got,
I'm talking about roller coasters.
you don't have to try.
And I am in a successful marriage, but I have an amazing husband.
See, the reason I'm on my third is because I always like, well, yeah, this is a great one, but I got to try the other ones too.
He likes variety. Yeah.
It hasn't worked so well for me. So
I was gonna say.
this time I only write the one that I've got. All right, Dave Chapman, Amusement Park Portal, Donnie P, the unofficial mayor, Nicole, our executive producer, Michael Dillon. I'm Andrew Z. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Everybody.
See you guys.